Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. As you guys know, Tom Thibodeau is the new head coach of the New York Knicks. But you know, question is real talk. Is that good news or is that bad news for him? Because if you look at what basically Tom Thibodeau has to work with, well, it's not very much to write home about. Keep in mind, the New York Knicks have just had a lot of trouble attracting a key free agent, and mainly is because of what people have heard about the current owner, James Dolan, who a lot of people want to sell the team. But if you look at that roster, Randall, Knox, then some people believe that RJ Barrett is going to be a bust. So what is he going into? What is he walking into? I remember him coaching the Chicago Bulls, Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose. That Chicago Bulls team was a pretty damn good team, man. I really think they was a couple of pieces away from like having a chance to really compete for a championship. I really think had LeBron James went to Chicago instead of the Miami Heat, who knows? But I guess he didn't want to, go to a team that Michael Jordan played for and win championships. Because I think if he went to the Chicago Bulls, I just think David Stern would have found a way to make sure that LeBron won one championship before his tenure ended. I forgot when David Stern left. I think he left in 2014. I think that's when Adam Silver took over. Maybe not. Put it in the comment section when did Adam Silver take over. But one thing he was known for doing, I really think that he played a pivotal role in like screwing up Derrick Rose's career, because he just would, he ran Derrick Rose into the ground. And like Big Mike said, Too Raw for TV, he used to just play his players a lot of minutes. Real talk. They had a solid team, man. That team was that Chicago Bulls team was very, very good. Like I said, they was just a couple of pieces away from being a serious championship contender. And I'm serious. But Tom Thibodeau, he definitely don't have in New York what he had in Chicago. They ain't no Joakim Noah there. They ain't no Derrick Rose. They ain't no Jimmy Butler. For real, they just, man. I'm just thinking to myself, well, shit, it's a good thing Mark Jackson didn't get that job when you think about it, because like I said, there's not a lot to work with in New York. You got to ask yourself, Kevin Durant passed on the Knicks to go play in Brooklyn. So what did that tell you about the Knicks? It's just a lot of issues in New York, period. Right now, we all know New York had the biggest issue like earlier this year. And they're starting to recover dramatically. Like I said, they hit their peak. Like early before everybody else did. Like I said before, I think California is gonna hit its peak, and then eventually it's gonna, start to simmer down a little bit. But nevertheless, I'm just being honest. Tom Thibodeau, you gotta understand, sometimes when you go into a new coaching job, it don't matter how good you can coach. At the end of the day, you only as good as your roster. And you only can do so much with that roster before, you have to say, hey, I need you to make changes. And then if they make changes and you still can't do nothing with it, then guess what? At the end of the day, the coach gets all the blame if they lose and gets all the credit if they win. And that's pretty much how it's been. I think to a certain degree, I think the coaches get too much credit. I think, like I said, you Phil Jackson, and this is why some people criticize Phil Jackson. Why a lot of people don't respect Phil Jackson. I think Phil Jackson is a great NBA coach. His resume proves it, but a lot of people don't like Phil Jackson, or they don't respect him to a certain degree, is because they feel, well, Phil Jackson never built the team from the ground up. Basically, he went to teams that was pretty much ready-made, or basically he went to teams that just needed a couple of tweaks and then they was ready to go. They felt that's what happened with him in Chicago, and then they definitely feel that's what he did with the Lakers. Now keep in mind, they wanted Phil Jackson to go coach. They wanted him to go coach Cleveland. And remember, Red Auerbach for years had issues with Phil Jackson. That was one of the things. Red Auerbach, he couldn't stand Phil Jackson. That would be the first thing that come out his mouth before all the way up until he passed away. He really did not respect Phil Jackson, because he would always say, hey, I built those Boston Celtics team from the ground up. But you know what? At the end of the day, Phil got the job done 11 times. So what can you say? But nevertheless, it's your boy Town Biz. I'm out.